UnJustified, where we always cover the truth, the facts, the good, the bad, the ugly, on an unbiased and sometimes very unpopular opinion. Since the last video that I made on the frequently asked questions of the mistress, and I was trying to answer some questions that I have been asked recently. Obviously, I'm not going to be able to answer them all because we don't have all the facts. I go straight by the discovery, the interviews, and that's what I go by. That is the only truth and facts that I am aware of that even exist out there. Now, there are some people that claim they're in touch with random people throughout this case, and maybe they are. I'm not saying they aren't. It's possible. However, if I can't show you the truth and the facts to back what I'm saying and where I get my opinion, then I'm not going to talk about it. I'm not going to say, well, this was this way, so it's obvious that this is this. I'm not going to do that. If I cannot show you for a fact that FBI, CBI, and law enforcement prove these evidence, then I'm not even going to speak of them. So I can show you what I know, and then you need to take the truth and the facts that we have available to us and form your own opinion, because I do not want to form your opinion for you. You need to do that yourself. I have my opinion and you need to have yours. I will tell you my thoughts and opinions, but I don't expect you to take them as your own. And some of you don't, and some of you think, it's high likely. At the same time, please do not take my thoughts and opinions and think that I am saying they are fact. But I will show you the facts, and you take those facts and form your own opinion just as you would if you was sitting on the jury. If this had a witch trial, you form your own opinion. We're a mock jury, and that's what we do. I will not mention names that's asked these questions, but I will try to answer them to the best of my ability. Okay, this is my most recent question, and it is, I saw the front porch interview again. Chris was not wearing his wedding band, and he kept showing off his fingers to the camera. Was that a message to NK? Also, if they were planning a AD, who was the other guy, Jim? Okay, I'm not sure if they were planning a AD. I'm not sure what you mean by that. As far as that maybe sending a message to Nicole, who knows? That is possible, I guess. That's a good thought. Especially if he just continued to flash that finger to the camera. We're going to take a look at that for others to see as well, so they can form their own thought and opinion on that part of your question. As far as the part about who was the other guy, Jim, well, I'm going to do my best to explain that after we watch that little part you're referring to about Chris doing the interview on the front porch. So let's take a look at that real quick for anyone else that would like to see it, and see if you believe that maybe that was a message to Nicole, because that's a very good question. Another thing that was mentioned in the discovery is the mark on his neck. Like, one of the people from the news channel sent a close-up photo of this, and they thought it looked like a child's teeth mark on his neck, like they bit down on his neck. And they actually went as far as also a close-up of Celeste's mouth and teeth.
It didn't happen, and it was just a traumatic night.
I never heard more about that.
Last night,
Chris said it was a mosquito bite, but take it for what you will, but that is what the news channel thought.
I miss them, cuddle up on their couches. They have a Minnie Mouse couch and a Sophia couch that they cuddle up on and watch, Bubble Guppies or something. And it was just it was tearing me apart last night, and I needed that. I needed that last night, and for nobody to be here last night and to go into their rooms and know that I wasn't going to turn the rain machines on, and I know that I wasn't going to turn their monitor on, and know I wasn't going to kiss them to bed tonight. It was it was, that's why last night was just horrible. I couldn't do it. I want everybody to just come home. Like, wherever they're at, come home. That's what I want.
Where was she gone for? She was on. She came back Sunday. You said that to you at night.
Yeah, because her flight got delayed from Arizona because of like other storms around the nation. So she's supposed to get home at like 11. She got home at like 1:48. She got in bed about 2.
What was she going for? A family trip? Or
It was a Thrive direct sales. It was a local event that was down there between a bunch of leaders in the company.
And that day she was back. I mean,
I left work early that morning, like 5:15, 5:30. So like she barely got into bed pretty much.
And this might be a tough question, but did you guys get into an argument before she left?
It wasn't like an argument. We had an emotional conversation, but I'll leave it at that. But I just want them back. I just want them to come back. And if they're not safe right now, that's what's tearing me apart. Because if they are safe, they're coming back. But if they're not, this has got to stop. Like, somebody has to come forward.
You spoken to her family, like her parents?
Yeah, they've been in constant contact, like every hour. I mean, everybody back in North Carolina and the East Coast. I mean, from Maine to Florida.
What is her parents saying to you?
They're just like if they need to get on a flight, just let them know. Because I mean, they feel helpless right now because they're on the opposite side of the country. I mean, Colorado is. I mean, you can't just drive around and look. I mean, it's just like first day I was like, I want to get out and drive around. They said, you wouldn't know what to look for.
Last couple questions. What does law enforcement, what have the police or the sheriffs or your neighbors, what's police saying to you?
Right now, this is what they're doing right now is with the canines in the sense. I think this is the biggest thing. This is the biggest thing they've done so far because yesterday Frederick Police Department did all the searching of the house and tried to gather whatever information they could.
So what do you think? Do you think he was showing signs or trying to throw Nicole some signs out there? It's very possible. That is very possible. Because supposedly on the day that interview was given to him, on the 14th of August, supposedly that is the day that Nicole claims she found out that Shanann was pregnant. Take that for what you will. Personally, I believe she fully knew way before this that Shanann was pregnant. And the reason I believe that is because Shanann was a very open person. Her Facebook account was public. She posted everything. So given the fact that it was recovered on her phone that she had made multiple searches for Chris's Facebook site as well as Shanann's, very recently she definitely made many while they were in North Carolina just the week prior. So given all that, there's really no way she wouldn't have known. I mean, I'm just saying, Shanann was very public. My personal opinion on was it a sign? I have to say probably not. And the reason I say that is because I've watched interviews of Chris. Chris is the type of person, he's very socially awkward in my opinion. And when he does talk, and he knows other people's really watching him, he gets fidgety. He'll sway from side to side. He talks with his hands. Now, why he was only using his left hand, I don't know, unless it was just the one that was on top of the right. More telling to me than anything is his lack of emotion. There's almost a sign of happiness, and at times he even laughs, which is very uncomfortable given that we now know what he knew when he made this interview. Now, a lot of people that's known Chris for a long time has said that's just Chris. He's a very emotionless person. He kind of snickers and laughs about everything, you know. when he's upset. Well, I understand that. A lot of people do. My brother does. At the same time, he knew in his mind where his children and wife were when he done this interview. So that's what is so chilling to me. Even people that is socially awkward, if they were put under that kind of situation, no matter what kind of habit you're in, it seems like the reality of what's happening would kick into overdrive and would overrule the habit. If you know what I'm saying, I hope that makes sense. I know it would for me. Okay, now to the next question this person had, and it was, who is Jim? I'm going to do my best to explain that to you. You're going to hear a lot about Jim, aka known as Leave Jim Alone. I'm going to tell you and show you why he has the nickname Leave Jim Alone. This is Jim's aka known as Leave Jim Alone. Jim would be the one in the button-up plaid shirt. Jim is a mystery. He really is, in a sense, and that's the only way I know to put it. He was Nikki's only alibi for the day, August the 13th. Kevin Kovac did ask her if they could have his information, his phone number, his last name, things like that, so they could get a hold of him and speak with him to just verify her whereabouts the day of August the 13th, because she did ping there after all in Frederick on the morning of August the 13th, 6:16 to be exact. People say it was from this tower or from this tower or from that tower. In my opinion, it doesn't matter which tower she pinged from. What matters to me is she did ping in Frederick the morning of August the 13th at 6:16 a.m., which is 31 minutes after Chris left his house the morning of August the 13th with his family. Another thing to mention is this was a work day for them. Obviously, it was early in the morning, and she had never pinged in Frederick in the morning, ever. That is out of her route for her going to work. So I don't care which tower. I don't care if it was the one by McDonald's. I don't care if it was the one a half a mile up the road. I don't care. It was still in Frederick. That's what I care about. And her only alibi, the one that she called, did from her phone.
To show where you were, obviously, and I don't want to cause you concern, we want to know where you were that day too. You're dating a man who did some egregious stuff, and we want to show that you were never near him that day. Period.
I mean, you guys can track my
no,
stuff.
Yeah, I mean, he doesn't know anything. He could say with one phone call, yeah, she came in at 3:45, done.
Totally.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I don't have to ask anything more than, hi, Chris, my name's Kevin, or Jim. And I'm not saying you have to give it to you.
Just leave Jim alone. Jim does not need to be wrapped up in this.
If at some point I needed Jim's info to, let's say we couldn't find your phone records, would you tell me
can
who
have
Jim
them.
was?
I will give them to you.
Would you tell me who Jim was if I couldn't
you
get
had
it?
to.
Okay.
I don't really want to
Correct.
involve him in this. That is not
Perfect.
fair to him. That's not, no, if I do not have to do that.
That's fine.
Read this. I always thought I would see you on TV, but I thought it would be on Cops Who Are America's Most Wanted, my friend Jim. Okay, this is another time that Jim was mentioned in the discovery, as well as her mentioning him in one of the interviews. And keep in mind, she said that Chris had never met him, didn't know who he was or anything like that. So you will just have to take this part and just take it for what you will. A lot of people believe that Jim was actually with them when they went camping. And then some people say that they weren't talking about a photo that was actually taken at the sand dunes. So you will have to take it for however you see it. But this is the only other time that Jim was mentioned in the discovery.
Through the 29th, we went to the sand dunes. We went to the Great Sand Dunes National Park.
Down in Alamosa?
Yes.
July 28th, 29th. Did you guys stay anywhere?
What did you say? I'm sorry.
Where did you stay?
Oh, we camped.
Okay. Let me ask you this. There was some attachments that when I was looking at some of your phone stuff today, although very limited, there's a man with a backpack. He's got a beard. He does not look like Chris to me in your photos. Do you know who I'm talking about?
Yeah, is he like a little heavier set?
Yeah, I'd say he's a little bit bigger.
Yes, that is my friend Jim. That is the one that I was with on the Monday and Tuesday of last week.
Okay.
You're so damn sexy.
If he does know him, if he has met him, I don't know. I will let you be the judge of this. Amy Lee, Kevin Kovac, and Dave Baumover. They flew to Wisconsin prison on February the 18th to do this interview with Chris. And this is the only time Jim was mentioned. This is the final time that I know of that Jim was ever mentioned.
What about Jim?
Jim, thank you.
He worked in the oil field, North Dakota, I believe, and I guess he's been a friend of hers for a long time, and it's kind of like a shoulder to cry on. Is always somebody that's always been around for her, and I guess he's had a couple girlfriends, and just, I guess he's hadn't had much luck, I guess, in that department as far as like keeping girlfriends, and just him and Nikki have always been good friends.
Just platonic friends?
That's as much as I knew.
Yeah.
But I think they just been friends for a long time, especially up in oil field, North Dakota, or whatever he's working now. I think either Wyoming, they could go all over the place.
So that's really all we know about Jim. Not really much more, except her phone pings. Her phone records show that she stayed in close contact with Jim quite regularly. So, seeing that she called him the morning that she pinged in Frederick, many people, including myself, think it's odd, as well as just the simple fact that she was so adamant about them not contacting Jim. Leave Jim alone. Okay, let me direct this question to you. I'm speaking to male or female here. If you were seeing someone and later you found out everything she found out, supposedly blindsided by, he was married, pregnant wife, all that. If you found all that out and it appeared that they may be wondering because they straight out tell you, would it be okay if we called this person, your friend, that just so happened to be with you and be the only person that can verify your whereabouts or anything on the day quadruple murder took place by the person that you were seeing and blindsided by? Would you be more than willing to say, absolutely, here's their information? Call them now. They can tell you exactly where I was. They can tell you exactly why I called them that morning. Yeah, they can tell you whatever you need to. Yes, call them. Please. Would you not want your only alibi to be spoke with to clear you? Or would you be like, no, don't talk to my alibi. Oh, Lord, no, don't talk to my alibi. No, my alibi don't know about this. Well, it's pretty obvious, it's a pretty big deal. So it's obvious he's gonna hear about it, even if he doesn't know. So would you not come out yourself and tell your friend yourself before they have to hear it on TV? I mean, it makes no sense to me why it would have been so important not to talk to your only alibi. And just for the record, she also said Jim came in that Monday evening and he left the next early the next morning. So there you go. There's your question about who is Jim. I hope this helped just a little bit, because this is really all we have factual to go on about who Jim is. I wished I could answer more, and I can sit here and tell you speculations all day. I can sit here and tell you where he worked. I can tell you many, many things about Jim, but it's not in the discovery, so I'm not going to say it. However, you're welcome to do your own research or just form your opinion off of what you see from the fact about who Jim is. I would like to show you a map, and I'm sure you saw this map probably before, but let me show you one more time. But first, let me just show you. Now, she no longer lives here, okay? So don't go to this address thinking you're going to find her, because you won't. But Nicole lived at Claude Court Apartments in apartment 612 in North Glen, Colorado. So I just wanted to show that this is a copy of her phone bill that is in the discovery, okay? This is just showing you where she lived. And this is something else I would like to point out as well before I show you the map. Okay, it says some people focus purely on the availability of the record and insist there is nothing to be suspicious about. Well, that is a very myopic and anti-intuitive approach that interprets the ping as an isolated occurrence in a vacuum. Here's some context why the particular ping is a suspicious coincidence. Kassinger's Verizon phone log from July the 14th until August the 13th lists 237 calls, incoming and outgoing in total. 237 calls means 237 origination pings. So as you will see, she pinged 124 times at her house in North Glen, 29 times at Anadarko in Platteville, 20 times in Fort Lupton, 13 times Broomfield, which is where her gym is, Denver, 15 times. Jim also has a place in Denver, Colorado. His phone, however, is still Milwaukee, Wisconsin, but he also lives in Denver. Okay, Brighton, 11 pings, Longmont, 6, Frederick, 4 times, 4 pings in Frederick. Okay, from July the 14th until August the 37th, 4 pings from Frederick. Total of 237 pings. Judging by the pings plotted on the map, I assume her usual commute covered Thornton, Brighton, and Fort Lupton, and then Platteville. It goes without saying that there is more than one way to travel from points A to B. It's totally possible for NK to drive by Frederick on her way to work. The ping is significant not because it was technically impossible, but because it was a deviation from her routine. Whenever she pinged in Frederick, Frederick was her intended destination. The 4 pings in Frederick, the only 4 pings in Frederick. Saturday, July the 14th, 10:24 a.m. She was visiting Chris. She said that herself. The second and third time was on Wednesday, July the 18th, 4:34 and 4:40. She's just lingering around in Frederick, right? The fourth time was Monday, August the 13th, 6:16 a.m. Why? On Saturday, July the 14th, she went to Chris's house. On Wednesday, July the 18th, she pinged in Frederick twice at 4:34 and 4:40 p.m., indicating that she stopped there for at least 6 minutes. The only reason for Nicole to hang in Frederick is Chris. The previous 3 pings were no accident. Nicole purposely went to Frederick to connect with Chris Watts. Therefore, I don't think the 8:13 ping happened by chance either. On Monday, August the 13th, what was her business? The law enforcement, especially Kevin Kovac should have asked Anadarko's security manager, Tony Husky, for in-case time card information for that day, and it's not known what time she got there. People will tell you that was checked out by the FBI. People will tell you many people saw her in the office that morning. I have never saw that proven as fact, ever. So if you do hear someone say that was verified that she was there that morning, ask them to show you proof, because hearsay can go all day long. And if they can't show you the proof, then you need to take it with a grain of salt. I don't say anything that I can't prove, period. If I can't show you the truth and the facts, whether it's an unpopular opinion or not, then I'm not going to tell you it's for real. I'm not going to tell you that it has been checked into and it was proven and there's all kinds of proof out there that she has checked out that morning 100%. Just because you hear someone say that, unless they can show you the facts to back what they're saying, then you have to use your own opinion and judgment to decide for yourself. Me personally, if I can't see the evidence, if I can't see the proof to back what I'm being told, then I don't believe it, especially in something like this. I'm not going to sit here and try to prove anybody guilty or innocent. That's not my job. Like I've said before, we're a mock jury, and my job isn't to tell you this or that. My job is to show you the facts and the proof and the evidence that is made available. And if somebody says, oh, well, I've talked to so-and-so, or I'm in contact with so-and-so, take it with a grain of salt unless they can show you proof. That only makes sense, right? The only thing I can say for certain is Nicole said herself, and I believe it was checked out, that she clocked out at Anadarko at 3 p.m. August the 13th. She never said when she clocked in. It's not proven or shown anywhere that her time card was shown her clocking in at 7 a.m., which that is what time she should have clocked in. There's no proof of that. I have not heard one person, one interview, one witness to come forward and say they saw her in the office that morning. There is a subscriber here on this channel that worked at Anadarko and was there that morning. And I'm going to be talking to that coworker very soon, any day now, maybe even tomorrow. He knows Nicole. He worked with her as well, worked with Chris. He definitely has never told me he saw Nicole that morning. Quite the opposite, actually. He feels like there's a lot of odd suspicion floating around Nicole. We do have proof that nothing in her phone register, besides a few pictures or some phone calls, was asked or questioned of her. The phone pings were never questioned, because by the time it got to that point, the investigators were told, stop the clock, stop all investigations, we've got a plea. So now, take everything I've told you into consideration. Please use your own opinion and judgment. Believe it or not, pulling all of this stuff back up to try to answer your questions here has taken a lot of time. Okay, and here is the map. And where you see the red arrow, North Glen, okay, that is where Nicole lives, Claude Court, just as I just showed you in her address, okay? This is her route to work. It takes her 33 minutes to get to work. It's 27 miles. So she would leave her home at North Glen and travel up 85 straight into Platteville and to Anadarko. This is the route that she's always taken to Anadarko to work, except the morning of August the 13th. Now, let's look at the map for that morning. At the bottom, you will see Claude Court, and that is where she lived. And again, you will see the route if she went straight up 85 to Platteville. You would assume that would be the way she would go, but not on that morning. On that morning, she took 25 up to Frederick. Here's Frederick right here. This is where she pinged in this area. Okay, now, to get to work, she would either have to cut through here on 52, hit 85 and go back up to Platteville, or she could keep following 25 and then to 66 to Platteville. If she went that route, it would have taken her 54 minutes if she had went 25 and then on up into 85. If she had left here and went this way, straight on. However, if she had been to Frederick right here, if she would have cut through here on 52, it would have took her 40 minutes to go on up into Platteville. Or she would have went on up and then over here, it would have only been 34 minutes. Okay, so it's only 1 minute difference to go that route. So not that bad if she was to do that route from 25 all the way up. It's only 1 minute's difference. It's 4 miles difference. But at the same time, that is the only morning she chose to go through Frederick to get to Anadarko. There's another thing about that morning as well. Every other morning, work morning, they called each other at around 7 a.m. On this morning, as you see, did not call each other at 5:02 p.m. So all the communication they were doing all day until 5:02 was only by text. It's the first time that's happened since they started seeing each other. Gonna take one more question in this video. And this one says, here are questions I hope you can answer. 1. What time did Chris's co-workers get to Survey 319 the morning of the murders? This is an important clue. 2. Where, when, and what was the Masonic hand sign Ronnie allegedly gave? 3. Were Cindy Watts and Nicole part of the female branch of the Masons? 4. Did Nicole come to the police before or after Chris was arrested on 8/15? 5. What date did Chris make his quote-unquote ghost town comment? And 6. Is D.A. Rourke a Mason? Okay, let me start with the ones that I can't show you facts and truth and evidence of. Number 2. Where, when, and what was Masonic hand sign Ronnie allegedly gave? Okay, I have never heard that. Never in my life have I heard that. So, I have no idea. And I don't think anything he done would have been any sort of thing. Okay, number 3. Were Cindy Watts and N.K. part of the female branch of the Masons? I do not believe the Watts was in any kind of Mason or anything like that. I'll just say that. There's definitely no facts, truth, or evidence pointing to the Masons whatsoever for anyone that I have saw. Now let me say, I have heard lots of speculation out there of the Freemasons, and it does surround the Cassingers and even Rourke. However, I have never saw proof of that, so I have never taken it into any kind of consideration. None. 0. Yeah, I've heard it more than once, several times a day actually, but I've never heard it about the Watts family. But yes, about the Cassingers and even Rourke I have. But do I think it's true? I don't know. That's the only answer I have. So I've never thought hard on it. I've never even involved the whole Freemason thing into my thoughts and opinions because I don't have any facts of it. So that said, okay, the first question, let's answer that for you. What time did Chris's co-workers get to Surrey 319 site the morning of the murders? And this is straight from the Discovery, Troy McCoy, Melissa Parrish, and Chad McNeil. arrived at Survey 319 around 7:50 to 7:30 a.m. They said Chris was trying to pressure test the line to see if he could find the leak. McCoy, Parrish, and McNeil were not at Survey 319 when Chris arrived, because most days the workers either go to the office or the field. So there's your answer. Between 7:15 and 7:30. Chris actually arrived at Survey 319 himself that morning. As you know, well, let me pull it on down here in the discovery and you will see exactly what time he got there. He left his house at 5:45 a.m. and it's a 45-minute to an hour drive from his house to Survey 319. And it says in the discovery that he worked at Survey 319 from 6:45 a.m. until approximately 8 a.m. I asked Chris if it was normal for him to leave his house around 5:30 a.m. and arrive at the oil well site at 6:45 a.m. and Chris replied, "I'll usually leave between 5:30 and 6 o'clock, somewhere around there. I just knew it'd take us a little while to get out there. I wanted to be out we usually like to start work at 6:30. But he did not start until 6:45. And then he left Survey 319 at 8 a.m. So there's your answer. He got there at 6:45, he says, and his co-workers got there 7:15. So there's your answer. This is the first time Nicole met with anyone to tell her story or give her testimony. This is her first interview, and she had them meet her at the park with her dad, August the 15th, 2018, at 5:30 p.m. This is her very first interview with them. So, and this is what I find ironic. She called them on August the 15th. It was sometime after 2 p.m. because at 1:30 on August the 15th, that is when they had completed that packet ready to go out and find Nicole and talk to her. Well, somewhere between 2 and 4 p.m., Nicole called them herself and set up a meeting and told them, now we do not have access to this, but it is in the discovery, that she called them, told them she believed that she had information they may could use on the Chris Watts case. Okay, so she set up to meet them at 5:30 to tell her side of the story. We know on August the 15th, Chris and his dad showed up for the polygraph test at 11 a.m. August the 15th. Okay, on August the 15th at 4:15 p.m. before Chris confessed, police investigators had already started a drone search of the oil and gas site where they believed the bodies of Shenanbell and Celeste to be located. They spotted a bed sheet, the pattern matching the pattern of several pillowcases, and a top sheet recovered from a kitchen trash can in the Watts home earlier that day. Police also spot fresh movement of dirt consistent with the grave near the oil tanks. Okay, this is before he confessed. They were already starting the drone search at Anadarko after they talked to Nicole on the phone before she met them for the interview at the park at 5:30. Chris was actually arrested at 11:30 p.m. on August the 15th. But so to answer your question of did Nicole come forward before he was arrested? Technically, yes. But she did not come forward before he went in to take the polygraph. She did not come forward where they could serve the contents of that packet she came forward, like very closely behind when the packet was completed. Okay, this is part of this discovery that is going to show you that on, as you see here, August the 15th, 8:07 a.m., and then it was completed the same day at 1:27 p.m. And that is how long it took them to get together the completed law enforcement support packet for Nicole Kessinger. The reason I believe they started this at 8:07 and they was planning to go find her and talk to her and do some searching on her is because at 8 a.m. on August the 15th is when Anadarko sent law enforcement the emails that they found between Chris and Nicole, and it alerted them to believe that they may have been having an affair, obviously. Okay, so moving on down, the synopsis read, created a law enforcement support packet for Christopher Watts' girlfriend, Nicole Kessinger. Action taken. On 8/15 ICBI investigative analysis, Jillian Ganley created a law enforcement support package for Nicole Kessinger. Kessinger is the girlfriend of Chris Watts. The support package was created so CBI agents, Frederick Police Department detectives, and FBI agents could locate and attempt to interview her. I researched criminal and public data sources to determine current address, current contact information, employment history, and criminal history. I completed searches in CCIC, NCIC, TLO, Clear, Lumen, ZTEX, Colorado Courts, Facebook, and Instagram. The information found was forwarded to AIC Kirby Lewis, FBI Analysis Liz Dawson, and CBI Agent Kevin Kobach. Was further disseminated from here. End of report. Law Enforcement Support Packet, LPR search for, and that is license, LPR search for Kessinger's vehicle, and LPR search is license plate registration, Kessinger's phone records received from Verizon Wireless on an exigency request, which that means immediate request. It's sometime between 2 when she contacted them and 5:30 before she met with them. This is right in the middle at 4:15. I don't know. Use your own opinion. Could be just a coincidence, and who knows, but hopefully that answered your question. So there you have it. That is all the questions I'm going to take in this video because it got longer than I prefer them, but I felt like I needed to research and explain and show all of the proof and evidence to back the answers that I was giving to you. I will come back with another video and try to answer some more questions. As I see, there's very many, and I want you to see the truth and the facts of your questions instead of just going out there and winging it. I want to show you the facts. So, if you found this video helpful in any way, if it's answered any of your questions, please give us a thumbs up. I would truly appreciate it. And until next time, this is Unjustified.